Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Matt, welcome to the Sin Bin, and in this video I kind of wanted to get something off my chest. So I've been following the Maple Leafs for quite a bit of time now, and I've been noticing a disturbing trend that's been happening, and that trend involves Auston Matthews. Oh fuck, that's not the shit. Auston Matthews, sorry, they just kind of look alike. So what I'm talking about specifically, it occurred on a game last Friday between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the San Jose Shark. So Auston Matthews, he's coming down the wing, he cuts to the middle of the ice, I believe this was in the second period, and Dillon, a defenseman for the Shark, he catches him with his head down and throws a huge open ice hit. It kind of looked something like this. So a lot of fans were kind of concerned because Matthew laid on the ice for a bit of time. He later went to the dressing room. He's following probably the concussion protocol. He didn't finish the period. He ended up finishing the game, which is good for Maple Leafs fan. I think we're more worried than anything, but I still had to say something about this. Now, I know a lot of Maple Leafs fans, and Auston Matthews himself, he wasn't happy with the hit. You could see him talking to the referee saying, "It was a hit to the head, ref." Now, a lot of them wanted Dillon suspended. The ruling on the hit, as tweeted by Chris Johnson, he said that Dillon won't face any supplemental discipline stemming from his hit on Auston Matthews. They felt that the head was not the main point of contact. Now, what I'm about to say here in my video, it's an open message to Auston Matthews, and the message I'm about to say, it doesn't matter if the hit was clean or not, okay? I'm not even going to say my opinion on it, whether I find it clean or not, because that's not the important thing of my video. It's really not. My message for Auston Matthews is this: keep your head up. I know it's not a cool message, it's kind of cliche, we hear it all the time, ever since we're young and we're lacing up skates for the first time and we're picking up our stick for the first time, we are told to keep our head on a swivel, keep our head up, not admire our past, not admire the puck, and just keep our head up, be aware of players on the ice to not get clobbered like Auston Matthews had on Friday. Now, it happened on Friday. There was also several incidences like this in the past. For example, last year, Jason Trouba just leveled Auston Matthews. As you can see in this photo, he still had his head down, admiring the puck. Trouba hits him. He ended up dislocating his shoulder, and he did eventually get injured for a long period of time. But as with this example, Auston Matthews had his head down. Now, I think there's a clear reason for this, why Auston Matthews constantly has his head down, why he's not really used to keeping his head up. And the reason I'm about to give you is that when Auston Matthews was a younger player, when he was in the junior level, he played in Switzerland, and wherever he played, whether it be with the U.S. National Development Team, whether it be at the World Juniors, Auston Matthews was always the bigger player on the ice. He's just a big boy, let's face it. So when he was in junior, he was bigger than anyone else. He didn't have to be aware of his surroundings because anyone who tried to hit him, they would just bounce off of him. So he's not accustomed, he didn't practice that quote-unquote skill. So now he comes to the NHL, where the players are much bigger, where the players are much, much more physical, and he's getting clobbered left and right because he never really practiced that skill. Wherever he was in junior, he was a bigger player. Now, let's look at his teammate, for example, Mitch Marner. Now, Mitch Marner, he's significantly smaller than Auston Matthews. He's a skinny little boy, let's face it. He looks like a weak 14-year-old. We rarely see Mitch Marner get hit. Now, why is that? Mitch Marner, when he grew up and he was playing in the CHL, contrarily to Matthews, he was always smaller than anyone else on the ice. So he had to practice the skill of being aware of his surroundings, because if not, he would just get clobbered left and right, being creamed in the board night in and night out. So he kind of got the opportunity to practice it being a smaller player. And we have a lot of incidences like that. Like, for example, Johnny Gaudreau. He's a small player. He has been hit in the past, but it doesn't happen very often where you see Johnny Gaudreau just get, plastered. It doesn't happen that often because he probably grew up in a league where he was the smaller player, so he had to practice being aware of his surroundings. So back to Auston Matthews. Matthews, I love you. I think you're a great player. I think you have an awful mustache, but if you want to stay healthy in this league, please stop admiring the passes. Stop admiring the puck, because all of the years so far, or almost all of the years that Auston Matthews has played in this league, he has had an injury. I mean, there's a reason why his nickname is Auston Glassius, or Mr. Glass, or whatever you want to call him. He's a fragile player. And when I say fragile, I don't think that his bones are weak or he has no muscle or anything like that. I just think he's really injury prone for the reasons I mentioned. He's not aware of his surroundings when he's on the ice. He's a great player. I think he's a franchise player in this league. His shot, maybe top 5 in this league. His skating is excellent. His two-way play. I just think if he wants to be well-rounded as a player, and if he wants to be a great player, part of that is staying healthy. Let's face it, you can't help your team when you're not healthy. And so Auston Matthews, if you want to stay healthy in this league, you really have to keep your head up. Another thing that Maple Leafs fans were upset of was that, and I know Steve Dangle touched about this, was the fact that none of his teammates protected him on the ice. So I'm just going to show Mike Babcock's opinion on that in this tweet, where Babcock asked, why did no one get in Dillon's face after the hit? And he replied, who's going to do that? And it's a fair point, to be honest, because with the league progressing throughout the years, before when I started watching hockey, the fourth line, it was always like a grinder line full of enforcers, and that's what you would expect to see on a fourth line. But I would say ever since 2011, when the Boston Bruins won their Stanley Cup, you see fourth lines that are much more skilled. And throughout the years, as I mentioned, the enforcers are kind of going extinct. So with that being said, I don't think that the Toronto Maple Leafs necessarily have an enforcer on their team. I think the last one they had was Martin, but there was definitely none on the ice at that time. Who the hell's going to get in Dillon's face, especially that Brendan Dillon is a tough kid? I don't think there's anyone to do that. I think that the best thing, rather than get in Dillon's face, the best solution to the problem is avoiding it in the first place. And that goes back to what I was saying. Auston Matthews, if you want to survive in this league and not retire at age 32, it is your duty to keep your head up. I know this is not really the funnest topic. I know it's controversial. I know I'm going to get a bunch of dislikes, but I also want you guys to explain why you disagree, because I'm actually curious. Because I don't see really any argument. There might be. I can't think of any to my points. But if you do think of one, please write it in the comments. I'm dying to know them. And as per usual, like this video and subscribe to my channel for hockey content, hockey clips, etc. Later today, we're going to have episode 9 of the Sin Bin Hockey Podcast. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. We're going to be talking about Rantanen's injury. We're going to be talking about this hit again, Shirley. Just check it out. I'm going to drop it later tonight or maybe tomorrow morning. So just make sure you guys check it out. And as per usual, my name is Matt. Keep your stick on the ice.